Welcome back to the Liberty Lineup Radio Show. I am Cherilyn Eagar, and we are on KTALK Radio, AM 630, k-talk.com with Liberty Lineup, and we are the Friday show where we expose media lies and legends. We want you to join our grassroots network and get our updates and alerts, and just go to libertylineup.com. That's libertylineup.com, and please support the cause of liberty today. Again, libertylineup.com. You can also like and share our Facebook page, and that is the Liberty Lineup Radio Show. We are going to be talking to Kate Dalley momentarily here, and Ben McClintock, who is one of our co-hosts on the Liberty Lineup, is also going to be on with us. Just a little preface, I received a late-night private message from Kate, and Ben and I both received it, and she says, I've been fired. This is a very popular Fox radio talk show host originating from southern Utah, and suddenly she's fired. We need to get to the bottom of this. We need to find out what is happening to free speech in America. It's under fire everywhere. Welcome to the show, Kate. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, Cherilyn? I'm so glad that you've asked me to come on, and I'm so glad to be here. Really, it has been a stunning last 12 hours.
Did you get any sleep?
It's been crazy. No, none. I've gotten no sleep. I have two different shows. I have the Fox News show, which is daily, and then I have a show on the Blaze. And Glenn Beck was sending really nice messages this morning, and I was hearing from some really neat people today, and it's been overwhelming, the support, but it still leaves me baffled as to why all of a sudden, I mean, on a Thursday night, I'm done. You know what I mean? It was just a shock. I've done it for 5 years, and we've covered a lot of stories, and it was a total shock. I did not expect it at all.
Well, it was a shock. And so Ben McClintock's on. Hi, Ben. How are you?
Hi, Ben.
How's it going?
It's good. So,
good.
Ben and I talked briefly about this before the show. He's not in studio right now, but glad you could join us by phone. And, we're both talking about, man, this kind of sends a chilling effect around media world, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so you were popular. You could tell you were popular. How did you know that? What were the stats you got? And
yeah, that's, it's crazy. We were being streamed all over the world. We had a huge following in Canada, all over. I mean, from California all the way to New York. I had full TV stations that would crank up the volume on the show in New York to listen to the show every day on Eastern Standard Time. And it was crazy, the calls we were getting. And the show was growing. The SoundCloud, I have about 560 shows up on SoundCloud. So it was growing, and it was getting bigger, and people were sharing the podcast. They didn't really do a whole lot of advertising for the show out of all the stations that my station owned. And so this one was definitely like word of mouth. And I talked a lot about the Bundys. With Ben, I helped with the HB 276 bill. I was very vocal about Hatch. I was very vocal about Reed and our governor, and so I've never held back, and so maybe that's why the show was shared. I don't know. I just felt like, no, you're going to get my voice, whatever that voice is, and the station was always really supportive of whatever I had to say. So I had a total platform to do what I wanted to do, and I had guests like Ben Carson and Ron Paul and Rand Paul and all these people every single week. We had over 400 guests last year like that, and It was amazing. And then all of a sudden, I think after I talked about HB 276 and after I talked about Common Core at the magnitude that I was talking about Common Core, I think all of these things sort of came to a head, and they said it was budget, but I really felt like there was no way. Our ad space on our show was completely sold out. I mean, we had ads like crazy, and we had no problem with advertisers, and the show was doing phenomenally well. We just kept adding audience. And so I was told it was budget, but I feel in my gut, and I could be wrong, who knows, but I felt like there was just a lot of pressure coming down to shut the show down because it was getting popular. In fact, I think we had the biggest audience. We were rated number one 2 years ago. Haven't got the numbers for this last year, but we were rated the number one audience in southern Utah. So in the afternoon.
We have had such a good time, really, collaborating with you because you're one of those hosts out there that isn't afraid. And there are farther and fewer between of that type of radio host. Ben, what are your thoughts on all of this? Do you think it's because we've been hitting so hard against some very sensitive points, and what could be behind all that?
Yeah, it just kind of blew me away. That's what I was going to ask Kate, actually, is it was there. It seems like you've had so many hard-hitting guests over the years. Would there be one topic that they would just say, well, that was just too far? Or I'm curious what you think.
I don't know. I have no idea. It could have been an accumulation. I don't know, and I wasn't told, and they just stuck to, well, it's the budget. And
right.
And I was sitting there thinking, well, that can't be, because we have more ads than we've ever had on the show. I mean, there was no reason right now in the middle of an election year, which is the biggest year for talk radio, that they would take me down in the middle of the election year. But I think talking about the governor...
That doesn't make sense for branding-wise to try and just throw in a new host that nobody knows during this kind of a season. It's
absolutely. This is a top season for this kind of talk. And right in the middle of it. So I had a great conversation with the owners at our station here. And we're very fortunate now. It's a family-run business. And so it's not big corporate, but, yours was too, right?
Mine was too.
And so then you have to examine, how does this work? I know what we do on our radio show. We take the scorecards, the voting scorecards of our elected officials, and we simply broadcast them, right, Ben? And we tell people who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, and what they're doing, what they're really doing. We also take bills such as 276, and Ben shot that one my way, and I took a look at it, and I'm going,
Ben did great work.
Holy cow! That the wording and there is very clear what they're doing, and yet they denied it. So
they told me that's not what it meant. I said, no, that's what it says. The wording is what it says in legalese in the state of Utah. And Mike Noel, the representative, said, but that's not what it means. And I said, we don't go by what it means, and so we
go
had
by
a
what it
battle out
says,
on the
right?
air.
So now we have an interesting dynamic taking place because we know that there's a lot of money in government and amongst our elected officials, right? So they're up in the legislative session, they're getting all their money from their lobbyists, and they become more allegiant to them than the people that elected them, and we see this happen, right? So, so then you just wonder, who was it that put the pressure on to get you off the air, or any of us, really, and how far are we going to be allowed to go before someone's going to complain that's got a lot of money? Maybe it's a big sponsor of your station, okay? And they might do the ultimatum. Okay, if you don't take that person off, we're going to walk. Right? That's the pressure.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are the last remaining hope, because if you guys don't do what you're doing and do it even stronger, there will be no other voice within the state of Utah. You guys are it. And I wonder if people really understand that. This is the magnitude that we're at, that we have media that's being told what to say, except for you guys. So you guys, if people don't listen to your show, they're nuts, because you're the only ones that are going to expose anything.
Well,
that's just how
thank you for that. Thank you for that. But that doesn't help you in southern Utah. And so I don't know what's going to happen. Ben, I felt such a relief to know that we were collaborating with a strong voice in southern Utah and around the country. Now what? Now what?
Yeah, exactly. That was something that, Utah, it's so interesting how it's separated. You've got basically Salt Lake and you've got southern Utah. You got St. George.
Yep.
And it's almost like they're two different areas, but they're still the same state. And we needed that voice in each of the major areas of the state to be able to tell people what was going on in an unafraid way like Kate did. And to have this is really a real blow to the people of Utah being able to hear the truth.
And not to be conspiratorial, but I will be, because it's happened all too often.
Put on your tinfoil hat.
And we've proven it. Yeah, I have a fashionable tinfoil hat, by the way.
Yeah.
and so you can see them on our little Christmas video that's on our YouTube, Liberty Lineup Radio Show. Okay. Ben's laughing about that one. But, okay, let's get serious now. All right. So think about this. You know that something is going on when people's response is so hypersensitive that they will go to any extreme to get that voice off the air. And I was thinking about this morning, Kate and Ben. There's got to be something going on underneath that we are not seeing in the lands issue.
Yeah. Oh, for sure there is more there, for sure. I had Monty Wells on yesterday, I guess, on my last show, and he was exposing such a deeper level to that, which I so appreciate, the petroglyph. I love the work he does, too. Yep. And, you know, it's strange because my being fired isn't a theory. It's a fact. And so there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason for that. And, you know, we're in an election year. If you and I and Monty and Ben can make people aware of stuff and sway an election and say, oh, my gosh, look what this person's really doing, like the governor or Congressman Stewart or all of these people with these deplorable records, they don't want us talking loudly because we're threatening. And so the fact that the governor is even in a primary right now, is that due to the efforts of grassroots people like you and I that are out there going, I'm sorry, you don't get his record. I did a huge rant on the fact that the governor was trying to take credit for our state being great. I'm sorry, no. We are great in spite of more government, in spite of more regulation, and in spite of more taxation. He did not limit government. No, he better never take credit for that. We, as Utahns, as business owners, are doing more with less. We are the reason that Utah succeeds in spite of government. So we're not going to thank government for that. And so when you start to shed a light on that and the perspective changes for people, that is threatening to the powers that be. And right now they're all being threatened because of the journalism that you guys are doing, the show I had, and it's insane. And I actually, the Blaze messaged me and said, you know what? You can always tell the truth here on the Blaze. You'll always have a home here, so you'll always have a show here. And I was really grateful for that because some people might wonder about the Blaze. I don't because I'm working through them and I know that they never censor. And they've been nothing but gracious. And you're right because
you know you and I are together and Ben as well.
Yeah.
On we don't always agree with Glenn Beck, right?
Right.
So that's really good that there's that attitude there. When we talk about independent radio and it's disappearing, it's because of this very reason that we are discussing right now. Because, you know, the independent radio stations are more vulnerable to losing sponsors, would you say?
Yes.
And so it takes great courage to stay on the air as an independent. And that's where we're at right now. But thank goodness. And by the way, this is Kate Dalley. She's the one that I told you about was just fired from Fox radio station down in southern Utah. And she is going to prevail. She is too good not to. And I am grateful.
You're so kind.
I am grateful that we have a radio station here that is transitioning to the internet because that is the future, right? And
yes,
so
that is the future for sure.
Yeah. So we have to keep going there. We have to keep going there together. So anyway, kudos to you. But I just know that there is something going wrong in Utah. And
well, it's been crazy. I had G. Edward Griffin on the show. He's the one that exposed the Federal Reserve. He wrote The Creature of Jekyll Island. And I had him on my show about a month ago, and he said, you might not get to do what you're doing very long. And if the day you're fired, you come to me, I'll employ you. I mean, I've had those kinds of offers from some fantastic people, and there are people out there that do want to support. Do you remember the guy from The Big Short, the movie The Big Short, that Christian Bale played his character? The guy that exposed the housing market, that bet against the housing market? He is a billionaire, and I had multiple email conversations with him, and he's like, I would support what you're doing, hands down. I think there are people out there that will support it, that we need to band together, and we need to not be threatened or stop talking, ever, because there are people out there that will keep things like this going and keep these voices heard. And I just love that you guys have a station that is so supportive of you guys. That's such a gift. And so you do what you do, and every second of when you're doing it, you make that count because you just never know. And so I'm actually grateful for you guys. I hope you guys stay in business forever. I really do. We need you.
Well, we're grateful for you. I don't know if you have time to hang out with us a little bit longer after our break here, but I've got some more questions for you. And
you bet.
I just am so pleased that Ben's on with us as well. And
Me too.
We are going to invite our callers to call in and ask questions of Kate or any of us about what is going on with free speech. You know, we thought that the First Amendment protected the freedom of the press, but oh well, maybe money matters more. 801-254-5855. I'm Cherilyn Eagar with the Liberty Lineup. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Liberty Lineup. This is the Friday show where we expose media lies and legends, and I am Cherilyn Eagar. I'm on with co-host Ben McClintock, who is on the phone, and Kate Dalley, who is popular radio talk show host with Fox, and she has been fired, and we are exposing why that could possibly have happened. And so with that in mind, Ben, yesterday on your show, you were talking about all those conspiracies out there, right? And the Bohemian Grove, and Kate, you were just talking about the book that you were, the Griffin book.
And where it was exposing the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
T. Edward Griffin is awesome.
Yeah. So I just would like to play a little theme song here for you both. Would that be okay?
Okay. Sure.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Name this tune.
I love Queen.
No escape from reality.
Yes, indeed.
Open your eyes.
Okay. Anyone know the name of
Love
this
it.
song? All
Bohemian
right.
Rhapsody, Queen.
Oh, you gave it away. There it is. That's our theme song from now on. Every time we get into the, the
Perfect.
realm.
I thought you were going to play Weird Al's tinfoil,
Yeah, the tinfoil.
Yeah, right? Jeez.
Anyway,
aluminum foil.
yeah. Well, so, and interesting, not to detract from our main topic, but I think the lead singer in Queen was actually gay, and of course we know about all the things that go on in that meeting that's coming up soon, right, Ben?
Late July.
What are the dates? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's like the last weekend in July. I didn't get my invitation this year for some reason. It must have
And
been lost in
I'm
the
going to
mail.
be out at the Republican convention. Dang, I wanted to, do some cross-dressing there and go as a man. See if they let me in.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. That would be awesome.
It's the actress in me.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah, I did a wicked Nancy Pelosi last Christmas. Okay, anyway.
Oh, my gosh. I love it. I love
Okay.
it. People say I look like Sarah Palin. I should probably go to
Yeah.
Sarah Palin. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, excuse me, how do I answer that question? I don't want to offend her. But you are very attractive, Kate.
You're so kind.
All right, so now that we've gone through that, and you have to have a little bit of humor in all of this, right?
Oh, yeah. You got to be able to laugh at this. This is
Balance
just
it.
insane.
So yeah, we've apparently struck a really sensitive chord amongst some people out there, and so Ben, let's explore that a little bit more here.
Well, that's something I wanted to ask. Sometimes we like to talk a lot about why would they have killed Lavoie? What was he doing? What was he teaching that they would want to get rid of him? Same thing here.
Right.
Why would they want to get rid of you? Let's talk about some of the things that who have you interviewed? What have you talked about? Let's kind of, if they're wanting to silence you, let's make sure we magnify your voice right now.
I love that. Well, I actually supported Chris Stewart a little bit. I didn't really know much about him, but I didn't know anything about him. So I don't know if I was supportive, but I was all right. I was wanting to see what he was going to do, and then he gets in, and his record was deplorable. So I started calling out his record, and then I realized early on that I couldn't trust any of these politicians. I mean, Hatch laughed about the NDAA on my show. He giggled incessantly about the NDAA and found it really funny that I was concerned about our Fourth Amendment rights and due process. And I started having all these politicians on, and then I just started banning them from the show because I thought, I can't even have a normal conversation with them because they won't answer questions, and they won't answer to the public they say they represent. So I started talking about things in a whole different way. And then after the county convention that just happened, where I was a delegate, there was all of these guys would get up, and they've been in government for 20 years, and they got up with the entire establishment of St. George and the whole southern Utah standing behind them as if this is our guy, vote for him. And then you had the guy that was the carpenter who was like, I'm the reluctant statesman. I don't really want to be here, but I'm here. I'll say no to everything. And, of course, the delegates choose the guy that the establishment votes for. So I got on the air and I said, this is the biggest dog and pony show, and all of you are to blame because you guys are the ones that vote these turkeys in. And these guys want the job so bad they're willing to lie. They're willing to do whatever they can do to get that job. That should worry you. Get the reluctant statesman in there. Get the carpenter. Get the cowboy, because we had both of those, and both of those guys didn't make it because they stood on the stage by themselves. They talked about the Constitution, their love for it, and they said, I will say no to stuff. And I'm not here to put my name on a bill to get it through so that everybody can pat me on the back for expanding government. So I exposed that, and I was really angry about it. And I think that was sort of the start of the demise was the fact that I was angry at the public for not recognizing the fact that this is where we need to change. This is where you have to start asking the hard questions, and you have to say, you know what? People, you're voting in the wrong thing. You're looking at this wrong. Do not go for the polished guy. And I think that was kind of the start of it. And of course, HB 276 didn't help.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. and Ben, I guess, was accused of being funded by George Soros.
Oh my gosh,
was
that was the
interesting?
funniest thing.
So yeah,
that was so funny.
But that's what they do, right? So
I know. They demonize.
So we were all following what was going on with ranchers up in Oregon, the refuge occupation
every day.
And so then when Pete Santilli, another radio colleague, was arrested, and by the way, he is still in jail.
Yeah.
Right? And he got sent back up to Oregon. He was in Nevada. And so I talked to him, and, you know, he's totally confident that they are going to be exonerated, that they are going to get through this thing. But the way they're treated is deplorable. It is no longer innocent until proven guilty. And so you start talking about this and start really hitting on the FBI and the government and what's going wrong. And then one of our colleagues gets put in jail. That's chilling, isn't it?
It is. It's really sick. And I never stopped talking about this. In fact, I'd get on the air and I'd say, well, here's another day that Congressman Stewart and Senator Lee didn't do anything about the guys sitting in solitary.
Exactly. And you know what? When I was talking to him, I said, so what exactly? No, I was talking to his girlfriend, Deb. And I said, what exactly are his charges? And she said, well, having a weapon at the Bundy Ranch. And I said, a weapon? What, his camera? And she said, yes, actually, that was the weapon he had.
Jeez.
Isn't that amazing?
That's scary. It's where we live in really scary times. I actually had somebody text me last night and said, well, at least you're not in solitary or in jail because you could be sitting there for some trumped-up charges.
Yeah, it could happen. You know, as that song goes that the Finicum girls sing, you know, first it's the ranchers.
I love that.
First it's the ranchers. They're coming for them now. It's us next.
Yep.
Wow.
I believe that.
All right, so where do we go next, Kate?
Oh, my gosh. You know, I hope people will spread the word. All this is going to take is for people to spread the word about your show, for people to spread the word about defendingutah.org. It's going to take a lot of people that will say, you know what, that's the media I'm going to go to for stuff to change, because education's key. If you can get people, it's like, this is what I liken it to. It's like finally figuring out that wrestling is fake. When you finally figure it out, you can't
Wait, what?
Yeah, when wrestling on TV is fake. Did you not know that?
It ruined my life.
Oh, man.
So it's like you finally see it, and then all of a sudden you start looking at everything that's fake about it. You can't not look. And so if we can get people to see how fake the two parties are, how fake all of that is, then there's a chance that you can get people to really change. So they've got to spread the word about this media. They've got to get their friends and family into this media, because we all have circles that we can touch. You know, Christ, when he started out, could have easily thrown up his hands and said, the role is too big, I can't do it, it's just me, and nobody understands what I'm about to say. He could have done that, but he didn't. He started working with individuals and small groups, and he started touching their hearts, and people started to change. And that's how he did it, because he had patience and he persevered. And we have to be like that, where we touch our inner circles and say, this is the media. These are the guys that are going to tell the truth.
Yeah. Well, we're wrapping up here. So, Kate, you're not going away. We know that. So we're going to stay.
I hope not.
Yeah, no, we need you. And so we're going to stay in touch with you. We'll keep our audience informed about what we find out, about what really
Make sure that
happened.
everybody, all of our listeners, she's still on the Blaze podcast every week, the Kate Show.
Every Saturday.
So you can still catch her on that, and I hope
Saturday,
our listeners...
what time do you air on that?
It's Blaze Radio Network, and they post it at 10 o'clock in the morning every single Saturday, and then you can just listen whenever. So I'm one of their podcasters.
Well, we're all moving to the internet. We know that. So just keep your networks going there, and we're going to stay in touch with you and hope to be part of the solution here. We got to stick together.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It says volumes that you'll have me on your show. Thank you.
Oh, yes, and we'll do it again. Kate, thanks. You have a great day. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, and Ben, we want to make sure that we wrap up with what's going on here on our end here, and you've got a great show on this lineup, and what is your call to action for defending Utah?
For defending Utah, well, I hope everybody will... It's important. You know, the enemies of freedom are trying to change the culture because they can't enforce their tyranny on us until they change us. And so we need to understand the culture of liberty and what that is that they're trying to change. We have the show every week. We put our shows on the YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and you subscribe to our Defending Utah YouTube channel, that will help out a lot. And just, stick to what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. And you'll find Kate Dalley out there in all of those Facebook chats that we have, and she's not going to let her voice be silenced. We know that. So
we're not going to let her either. We're going to keep her going.
So we got to stick together here, and fortunately KTALK is friendly to us and is fearless, so we want to keep it that way. And by the way, anyone listening out there, you got to keep talk like this that is unadulterated, that is what we call the naked truth guys on the Thursday show, and the raw truth that we try to speak on this radio programming time, 10 to noon, every day, Monday through Friday. In order to keep that going, we need good sponsors. So if you have a business, if you know a business, or if you even want to give, some kind of a private sponsorship to keeping this message going forward, call us, get in touch with us. The station's phone number is 801-253-4883. Again, 253-4883, area code 801. And we need your help. We need your support. We want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile, for being so loyal to us. And Ben McClintock, thank you for spending this time as well. And we'll be on Monday again with the Grahams, Steve and Janice Graham, and they are going to update us on what is going on next with the Obama administration and his mandate to all of the schools. My opinion, get your kids out of the public school, get them in a good private setting, whether home or any setting that does not take federal money. What do you say, Ben?
That's the first thing that the state needs to do to show that they're not cowards, that they're actually going to stand up to the federal government and stand up for the families of Utah, is they need to say no more of this funding. It's unconstitutional anyways. Utah can take care of itself.
Yeah, just cut the Title IX funding. That's a good place to start, right?
Yep.
And that's the power and influence that this microphone has and that you have as our listeners. We are moms and dads, and we have little children in our care and protection. We have to wake up. We have to speak out. Contact your school board. Contact your principal. Get your neighborhoods together, talking amongst each other. and stay networked with us, thelibertylineup.com. Get in our grassroots sign-up list, and you will be updated on everything that you need to know. We want you to be brave and courageous and go out there and stand for truth. We'll be back Monday. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend.